If you're like most of our real estate agents, you're probably wondering, has there been a change sa requirement ni buyer in ipapalit siya balay, especially with all the business that's happening right now? If it did, na ba tayo kinahanglan i-usab or improve with the way that we close our sale, the way that we discuss the project or the property to our clients? My name is Fretchie and I'm your real estate coach here at ASR, and today we're going to talk about how to market real estate amid the pandemic. So here's what's happening right now. If you ask me if there has been a change in the buyer's requirement, the factors that they consider when they buy a house, the answer is yes. Definitely. You know, if before people are merely looking at the price na basta barato, sige go palit, because other things are considered nga marag add-ons na lang siya or bonus are not one of the major factors that they look at. But right now, we're seeing a lot of buyers based on data, right? A lot of buyers looking at properties nga number one, na ay 24/7 security, na ay perimeter fence. There are amenities available like the swimming pools, because 7 months ago, we experienced how it is to be locked down sa very small space. So what we need to do with the way that we respond is to improve, tweak it a little bit so that it matches the current need of our buyers. Because you have to understand that in sales, the marketer or the salesperson who understands the buyer's fears, the buyer's pain points, the buyer's needs is the one who's gonna get the sales. So let's say nag-chat-chat na mo ni buyer, right? Location. So same paghihapon sa una. The only difference is that when you talk about the location now, it's not enough that you're simply talking about asang address aning a project, right? You already know that based on our training, that you can't just talk about the address. You have to be able to talk about how far this property is to their workplace, which also means that you have to know asa ni sila ga-work so that you can educate them kung pila ni siya ka-rides from the property sa ilang house soon going to their workplace, right? Unsay commute ani, na ba ni siya bus, na ba ni jeep, na ba ni siya V-hire, right? Because one of the things that people have experienced, especially during the lockdown period or even until now, nga MGCQ na ta, is the difficulty in commuting, diba? So, ever since one of the requirement na gina ni buyer nga, dili kay layo, right? Let me also share with you what's happening during the ECQ. Back in, I think it was April, May, June. So, during those times, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. We've experienced some slowdown in terms of sales, especially in the condo market, where most of our buyers are either tourists, foreigners, OFWs, and etc. During the lockdown period, though, we had an increase of demand from the medical sector or the frontliners. One of the things that they were specific about is the location of the project. Gusto sila na either one ride lang or just few minutes drive from their workplace. Because of the nature of their work, they had to be in the office as soon as possible. So, ano siya, mga medical doctors, nurses who were looking for their properties, either condo or house and lot. So, muna siyang nahitabo, especially during ECQ nga, you know, walay transportation, walay jeep. You know, we even saw from the news nurses driving a bicycle. So that's how difficult commuting was during that time, which triggered the sudden increase in demand for properties within the city. right? Especially for frontliners, both medical and non-medical. Let's say within the city ang project nga imong gibaligya. What can you say? You can say something like, Ma'am, kani atong project is duol ni siya sa imong workplace. Mga 5 to 10 minutes ride. It's also just one ride going to SM and Ayala. right? So when your client is asking you about asang location, Annie, so don't just tell them about the address. Show them how the property can help them have an easier and more convenient lifestyle. Because yes, if you don't know yet by now, our buyers are not just buying a property or not just buying a house from you. They're buying a lifestyle. They're buying convenience. They're buying ease of commuting. Of course, one way or another, we're going to recover in this pandemic. And the best part about this property, ma'am or sir, is nindot kaayog income potential sa imong condo or balay because it's located within Cebu City. So pre-pandemic, we know how huge the demand is, especially during peak seasons like Sinulog, right? So most hotels are fully booked as early as October. January pang sinulog, but October fully booked na siya. What if you're selling a project outside Cebu City? This is also one thing that you want to take note of. There is a growing demand for projects that are outside the city. Why is this? Well, if you take a look at people's behavior right now, number one, work from home. So a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of companies have started to realize that it's possible to work from home. Yes, it's challenging, but it's possible, especially if na yung mga health crisis like this. And people don't mind if it's not within the city, because as long as there's an internet, they can be productive, they can work, and they can get jobs done, right? The second factor that has contributed to the growing or the increase in demand for properties outside the metro is, just being at home, being locked down at home for 3 months wasn't easy for our buyers, and somehow one of the things that de-stresses people is nature. And when you're outside the cities, you're closer to nature, you're able to de-stress as fast as possible, it's not as congested, so the possibility of you getting infected is less likely compared to a property nga naa sa Cebu City, which you're surrounded by barangays that are highly dense. What do you mean by highly dense? So daghang kayong mga tao. So there you go. So that's why mga tao naguna-una sad sila nga, what if we have a property outside the city so we can just get away from the crowd. So space outside the city, you want to emphasize space, spacious outdoor, enough space for families, social distancing, and not bumping into each other, and keeping the family safe, because that's exactly the whole point. Why parents, why families buys a house, because of their loved ones, their kids most especially. That's for location. Now let's move to the second one, which is amenities. So what are the amenities? If you don't know what amenities is, check Google or check our website. All of the possible amenities in a project or in a subdivisions are there. But for amenities, one of the things that's very important that people look at and your buyer need to know is if the project has 24/7 security. Ano importante ang 24/7 security? Of course, safety and some peace of mind, right? You want to also emphasize the spacious, again, let me repeat, the spacious outdoor, the spacious clubhouse, if the project has that, spacious clubhouse, the spacious playground. I don't know about you, but I'm a mom of 2 hyperactive kids, and getting stuck inside a 70 square house got them really bored. So charan, change outfit, right? So kana, right? So nakay certain assurance, ma'am. So they can use the open areas for outdoor play, and at the same time still maintaining social distancing. Talk about the jogging trails, right? The open areas where the buyers can use to be fit and healthy. One of the amazing amenities that is very helpful, especially during this pandemic, is the property management, which is the one that handles garbage collection. We already know the importance most especially now, we already know the importance of maintaining cleanliness and hygiene, not just at home, but sa imong entire surroundings. During the lockdown period, ang naka-advantage ng mga nagpuyo sa subdivision, paspas kayo sila nakaput up dahil mobile markets, mobile fruit stands, or what do you call this? Kind of for meat and other basic necessities. So advantage kayo sa mga homeowners because they can skip going to the grocery where there's a big crowd, long lines, right? Mato pa sila palengke, so wala na siya nga na. So next is the house features. So of course, ato na mo site visit na mo, or maski wala pa mo nag-site visit, nag-chat pa lang mo. House features, what we normally do is we discuss the floor area, we discuss the lot area, how many bedrooms, pila ka toilet and bath, semi-finished ba siya or fully finished. So now that there's a pandemic, you can't just do it the same way as we did pre-pandemic. So when you're talking to your clients about the house features, always emphasize on how this project or this property, if they buy it, how can this help them with their existing problems. So right now, if based on data, a lot of people are having trouble with their online job or work from home setup because of the noise, because of the limited space, walay mabutangan sa home office, the kids are running everywhere, and it's just really not conducive for working, or lisod kayo ma-productive o giana nga setup. Now, you can mention that to your client, ma'am, kani sa balay ma'am, nakanindot ani is because you have this little space under the stairs na pwede ka mag-set up diri o imahang work from home setup, or you have this third bedroom that you can design as your home office, right? So here, ma'am, you have privacy, you can work with lesser distraction, lesser noise, right? Walay manok kapatugao. I'm not sure if you have that challenge, but yeah, that's one of the top 3 listed distractions with the work from home setup. And the good thing about subdivisions as well is because of the number of homeowners in the community, better internet connection. I'm not saying that it affects it, but based on experience, kasi gana na po sa subdivision, okay, because of the number, it's easier to request from PLDT or with Globe to set up a fiber connection nga para din nga subdivision. And then of course the last one, which is one of the common problems that we have, is the price. So how do you respond to pricing objections? One thing that I want to tell you about pricing right now in real estate. Did you know that for the past 10 years, prices of real estate in Cebu have been steadily increasing by 10 to 30% every year? 10 to 30% every year on average before COVID. Like for example, there's a property that we launched earlier in 2019 for only 2.9 million, townhouse ni siya. By the end of 2019, the price of the same project, the same property, same location, went up to 4.6 million. Can you imagine the price difference? Because that's how prices in real estate increases due to the demand, due to the booming economy in Cebu. So the best part about buying a property right now is, number one, the price freeze ang mga developer. That means for the past 8 months since nag-lockdown, walay developer nga nag-increase in ang price. Number two, there are amazing, never before promotions or payment terms that the developers are offering. Right now, the developers are offering reserve now, pay later. Can you imagine buyers to reserve the property now and pay their first monthly equity sa January na? Or dako kay siya nga advantage sa client part nga dili siya ma-pressure o bayad sa iyang monthly, right? The developers are also offering discounts as much as 200,000 to 300,000 discounts. They're offering free move-in fees. Some developers are offering free transfer charges, all-in packages sa mga buyers, kitchen showcase, home theater showcase, semi-furnished houses, just to help the buyers get as much savings or get as much of their money's worth. Developers, and the good thing about developers right now is that they have more flexibility on equity payments. Unlike before nga, mag-lisod og bayad og 3 months si buyer sa equity, makancel gid ang project. Now, developers are, working with the buyer kung unsay need niya. Does the buyer need to extend? Promissory note lang siya. Maybe he can't pay the monthly equity this month. Maybe he can just pay it by the following month. If there's one thing, whether the client buys a house now or later or 5 years from now, it's still going to be the same thing. He will still need a house and he will continue to need a house. So might as well buy it today or reserve today kaya maka-take advantage siya ani ng mga promos, flexible payment terms on equity, etc. So I hope you learned something today, and if you have topics or if you have questions that you want us to create a video on, send us a message or leave it on the comment section below so that we can create another video for you. So that's it for now.